Hey everyone, Resonance here, and today I'm going to be bringing you all an expert replay commentary between the two players PYC Hawk and GoH Aurelius. They are both currently 2K rated players on the Age of Empires 2 HD Edition ladder, and they are both quite skilled. PYC Hawk is a veteran Age of Empires 2 player who is famous for inventing and perfecting the Teutonic Tower strategy on the old Zone multiplayer service. After taking a lengthy break from the game, he has returned to give Age of Empires 2 HD Edition a try, and to showcase the power of a carefully executed tower rush. In this particular match, PYC Hawk will be playing as the Teutons, and GoH Aurelius will be playing as the Goths on the map Arabia. Without further ado, let us jump straight into this replay. Right off the bat, you will see both players going for the very standard opening of taking the first 3 villagers that you start with and splitting them between 2 houses, with 2 villagers on one house and 1 villager in the other. That way your houses come up just in time so that your villager production is not slowed down by getting housed. One weird thing that you will note is that PYC Hawk, this is part of his crazy traditional Teutonic Tower Rush build he invented way back in 2001. He will put one of his villagers on wood right off the bat. This is very, very non-standard. You will notice that Aurelius here, he's got 5 villagers on sheep, which is the standard strategy. Basically, the standard opening is that you put down these 2 houses right, and then you try and get 6 villagers on sheep ASAP. That way you're getting enough constant food income that you can keep producing your villagers non-stop. So this is normal. This is not normal. One of these villagers is instead on wood, and then we only have 5 on sheep right now. And the reason that he's doing this, which we'll see as the match goes on, is he's basically trying to stockpile wood and save it early. You'll notice that he even skips the standard lumber camp. So basically, once you get 6 villagers on your sheep, you will usually put down your lumber camp, as Aurelius here is going for a very, very standard opening. And then you're going to put the next few villagers on wood. And now it'll either be 3 villagers in the lumber camp or 4. 4 is a telltale sign for a drush, which stands for Dark Age Rush, in which the player will start putting down a barracks at around 6 or so minutes in the game and start pumping out some militia. Usually you'll see 3 militia from a drush, and then these will go to the enemy base and try and harass the enemy economy. While a drush may seem largely ineffective because militia actually do not really win a one-on-one fight against a villager with loom, they're still very, very effective because when the villagers are fighting back and punching those militia, they are actually not gathering any resources. So in the end, as long as you can get them to pull some enemy villagers off the line, the militia definitely do pay for themselves rather quickly. And yeah, you'll note by looking at his population that he is definitely getting a earlier boar lure than usual too, and he also got loom before he hunted it. Again, this is all about stockpiling resources. When you're going for a tower rush strategy, you usually want to advance at about 20 population, which he's probably going to be doing this game. I'm not 100% sure if he will, but that's the standard thing to do. And in order to do that, he's going to need to stockpile a ton of wood. A ton of food, which is why he only has 1 villager on wood right now. Whereas Aurelius has 4 villagers on his lumber camp, so that means we're definitely going to see this barracks and a drush, I think. It's the Goths, so what do you expect? And yeah, you'll note that Hawk's boar, he hunted that rather early. Aurelius hasn't even gotten his boar yet. Normally you'll see pros opt to skip loom before they hunt their boar, but it looks like both players, Hawk and Aurelius, actually, is Aurelius getting loom? But yeah, Hawk definitely got it beforehand. Alright, looks like Aurelius is getting it here. I definitely like to get loom before I hunt my boar, even though it definitely does slow down your eco. Researching loom is an entire villager that takes the same amount of time that you could have, and an extra villager really does make all the difference. I just like to get loom before I hunt my boar because you never know when you're playing in these larger team games, which I typically do. You never know if there's an unfortunate, inconvenient lag spike that could make you lose a villager, and in that case, it's definitely worth it. But in these one-on-ones, I would say that it's probably better, honestly, if your micro is careful and you don't have 400 ping, that you definitely wait on that loom. Yeah, so notice how Aurelius actually has his first boar underneath his TC as Hawk gets his second one underneath here. This is very, very, very interesting here. And yeah, so look at how Hawk here, he has no lumber camp, right? And this 1 villager has been chopping on wood. He's only had 1 on wood this entire game thus far. And this means that his food income is much, much higher than Aurelius's right now. Why? Because he's trying to advance ASAP right now. He's going to want to advance in about 3 population if he's going to go for this tower rush, which I'm assuming he is, because he's playing Teutons, and this is what he does. And yeah, the point is he finishes chopping this one tree with this villager, right? And this will give him exactly just enough wood to put down his lumber camp here at around 17 population, and his mining camp. He's going to want to transition, I think. The standard for a tower rush should be 4 villagers on stone, so he's going to want to start transitioning those into stone. And yeah, this is most definitely a tower rush. If Aurelius has scouted this, then you know if someone's going for a tower rush if you see this early stone mine. Like, it's not even 7 minutes in the game yet, and we see stone being taken, so very, very much definitely a tower rush coming here. And yeah, notice again, almost everything's on food. The goal here is when all of these villagers drop off all their food, and I think he's done this just about perfectly. He should have 500 food right about now. And the reason you want to advance so quickly when you're going for a tower rush in which you start forwarding some watchtowers on your opponent is because speed is everything. You want to make sure that you get this tower rush out ASAP so your opponent has so little time to react. And yeah, here comes the barracks from Aurelius right now, and with the drush, he's definitely going to have a slower feudal age because of the food that he's going to be spending on these militia. So that's definitely going to be a problem, as Hawk is... Yeah, he's really committing with this. This is a very, very serious tower rush when you bring 7 or 8 forward villagers, my goodness. Yeah, this is definitely PYC Hawk's thing. And what I really like to see here is that Hawk is putting down these palisade walls to protect his 4 classic stone miners here. This means that the drush that's incoming will not be able to affect his stone income. And he's definitely going to need it since those watchtowers cost 125 stone. Okay, so the good thing is that Hawk has scouted Aurelius yet. Has Aurelius actually noticed this? Oh wow, there's some rather poor scouting from Aurelius right now, unfortunately. It looks like he has not even located PYC Hawk yet. And tower rushing is a very, very risky strategy, but boy can it pay off when your opponent does not know it's coming and did not adequately prepare for this. So here comes the 3 militia drush, pretty standard here. Good to see an early wall off, but it looks like it's going to be too little too late, as PYC Hawk has his 8 villagers in here already. Notice how he brings the scout with him, because every little bit of firepower counts. Another thing I wanted to touch upon briefly is another way that you can know if a player is going for a drush is that if they mine 10 gold from one of their gold mines over here, usually the main gold deposit, it's not worth it putting down a mining camp simply because you just need an extra 10 gold. Because remember, militia cost 20 gold each, and you're going to have 50 gold left over after looms, so for 3 militia you're going to need 60 gold. Alright, well here comes the 8 villagers. Aurelius is not even up yet. Which, is standard. It looks like he's definitely considering going for fast castle age after his drush, which is, something that you can do. But the nice thing about drushing is that there's so many... I guess it's super flexible what you transition into after that. But this is going to prove to be a very, very poor choice. Has Aurelius noticed the towers yet? He has not. Well, this is going to be really bad. What I like to see here, though, is that Hawk, definitely a veteran tower rusher, famous for popularizing it. Notice how he is putting his towers so that they are... Well, the first tower, he's putting it next to this stone mine. That way, one side of this watchtower is already easily defended. Watchtowers have minimum range, so units that get directly underneath them and attack them at the base, the watchtower cannot shoot those. It cannot shoot units directly below it. So it's important, like with this house here, is that now there's only 2 tiles that this watchtower can be attacked from now, which means this watchtower is so much easier defended. And yeah, wow, we've got another watchtower here, and it's attacking Aurelius's forage bushes. Oh my goodness. So when Hawk tries to do this strategy, he will usually try and get a surround on the enemy town center with his watchtowers. And notice again how he is making sure that his watchtowers are indeed in range of each other. That way they can protect each other. So if Aurelius pulls a bunch of villagers off the line and he tries to stop this tower from being built, Hawk can simply back up his villagers, put them in this watchtower, and just rain hell on Aurelius. And the Teutons are so good at this particular strategy because for one, they get murder holes for free, and for two, they can they have double the garrison room that they can put in one watchtower. Has Aurelius actually done anything with his drush? Okay, it looks like Aurelius has finally found Hawk. Some rather poor scouting there, definitely. When you're trying to find your opponent, which you should really start scouting for them around maybe 6 or so minutes in the game, that way, especially if you're going for a drush, you can get some damage in. Because, this is pretty vulnerable. He can attack these foragers, he can attack this lumber camp, and really do some damage. Obviously, he can't attack the stone mine. But anyway, your opponent will usually be directly across from you. So Aurelius' base is here, right? You can assume that Hawk is directly across from him. I mean, Hawk could be over here or over here. But again, it shouldn't take that long to do that scouting, especially with the drush from the militia. Okay, so it looks like, oh wow. Yeah, Aurelius is in pretty big trouble here. I also like this watchtower placement as well. It's right next to the forage bush. Again, more difficult to be surrounded. And, okay, so it looks like Aurelius' response here, because I'm curious to see how he's going to play this. He has decided to put down this mining camp here, try and get a little bit of stone off this, probably for a counter tower of his own, a defensive one. But I don't know if that's going to really work, honestly. Because Hawk can garrison twice the villagers inside one of his watchtower. They're going to straight up win in a watchtower and watchtower fight. I mean, the first thing that you should do when you see a tower rush coming is you want to wall your base off. I'm talking like, you want to wall your base off in a way that it forces the enemy to walk underneath your town center if he wants to build more towers, because towers are stationary. They can't just uproot themselves and walk around. If they can, that would be so stupid. Thank goodness they can't. So what you want to do is, I wanted to see Aurelius wall this area off ASAP, all the way to his TC, and then this, like this. This is good. Although I probably would have put it a little further forward than that, but that's fine too. And just to prevent these, the forward towers coming in here, I do like Aurelius, I guess, putting this tower here, but it's just gonna, actually no, never mind, it's just gonna be a complete waste, because the ones that are just garrisoned inside this tower will just make short work of this watchtower. You can't possibly win this fight with the Teutons. I mean, he had the choice to either, well, for one, he should have, if you notice the initial watchtower going up, you can pull a bunch of villagers off the line and try and take it down, but once one watchtower is up, you basically just have to wall your base up and just prevent the towers from getting a surround on your TC. This is a pretty good place for a watchtower, though, because it'll prevent Hawk from putting a tower like right here in case Aurelius wants to saturate this little wood area. Oh, looks like he's doing it right now. So this is good. This will prevent the another tower from going up, because this tower is not in range of this tower. But this tower here, that's just going to go down for free. And it looks like Aurelius actually is making a pretty big mistake here. Not only did he, but he just hasn't been attacking this watchtower at all. I haven't really been watching the Drush, but I'm assuming that, because there's just so much going on right now, I'm assuming the Drush absolutely failed. Definitely not super surprising. Wow, he's got a lot of people on gold. Okay, so Aurelius, I think, okay, this is a more smart move. I like this one, though. He notices that there's really no room for him to saturate his wood anymore. Like, he has to pretty much abandon that lumber camp. He's got to move him over here. I'd really like to see him wall this area off so that Hawk doesn't start towering around over here. But he's noticed that there's really not that many available resources to him right now. So he's intelligently put down this market here, and he's going to be able to use his gold to go buy resources to be able to sustain his villager production. But wow, Hawk is doing some insane economic damage right now. I do like this little wall off here, but alright, here's the thing. Another problem with the Trush, and that's why it's not... It's a very high-risk, high-reward strategy, but very high-risk indeed. I mean, look at this. All of Hawk's base completely undefended right now. Everything is invested in this this tower rush, and his economy is obviously super weak because he had to put 4 villagers on stone early, and you know, getting that super fast feudal age definitely leaves you with a weaker eco. So the thing is what Aurelius needs to do is he needs to wall his base off immediately, which he honestly waited too long for, and he should really wall this area off ASAP. So you gotta wall your base off, and then you gotta plan for a counterattack, because otherwise you're not getting back in this game. He's giving Hawk so much map control. And the point of these watchtowers here is you want to put them in locations where 1, they're covered by another watchtower, and 2, they're zoning your opponent off some sort of resource. Notice how he's going for some sort of surround here. You don't want to put your towers too far away from each other. They should be able to protect each other. That's the general goal here. Alright, so he's got a mill down over here, which means he's going to probably start putting up some farms in this area. But the thing is this wall off is so far back. It's way too far back. He's giving himself such a small slice of the map. And the 8 range on these watchtowers is really just intimidating. So, I mean, these farmers are just getting zoned, honestly. I don't know if he has enough room to build. Okay, looks like he did finally wall that area off, but yeah, he's given himself so little map control. He's basically conceded that Hawk now owns, what, like 80% of the entire map? He just gives Aurelius this small little, oh, that's much less than 80%, like maybe like 10, 8% of the map. Aurelius is basically nothing, and Hawk right here, he's intelligently using some of his villagers to go stab down this palisade wall, because they do definitely have an attack bonus versus buildings, and this palisade wall is going to go down. Yeah, wow, no, this is really concerning. Aurelius is in a really tough position here, because he doesn't even have a barracks yet. Like, he's in no position to fight back right now. Wow, yeah. You know, since his Drush took so long to get here, he could have also perhaps considered researching men-at-arms to make them a little more buff, perhaps. And he probably could have done some more damage with that. But yeah, I mean, you look at how vulnerable Hawk is right now, and just if there could be any units that could come out from Aurelius right now, Hawk is pretty much bones. But It looks like that's not going to be the case. Wow, a couple villagers going to die here for free. He tried to demolish this watchtower here with his villagers by pulling a lot off the line, and that's what a lot of desperate players will do, but that's not going to work. Why? Because that tower is covered by another tower, and the Teutons can just garrison in a ton of villagers, and wow. Look, I really just don't know about putting down this defensive watchtower here. Like, that's not going to work. I mean, really the most important thing is he's got to restrict the mobility of Hawk's villagers. It's not like he can take on these towers one-on-one. Because he puts down this tower here, right? This tower will lose in a one-on-one fight versus Hawk, and it looks like he's focusing this house. A pretty big micro mistake, honestly. I mean, yeah, so he's going to have to focus this watchtower. The watchtowers will lose, so he's going to have to pull villagers off the line to stab that watchtower if he actually wants to be able to take it down. But he'll lose so many villagers in the process, it's just not worth it. Wow, this is a really, really devastating tower rush. Always really good to see very, very cleverly executed tower rush. PYC Hawk definitely known for that. Yeah, okay, so he just gets to build off right off the back of this just for free, basically. And wow, he's probably going to be up to the castle age relatively soon. I guess not. But yeah, the eco difference is pretty big here. Aurelius is down like 7 villagers, and he just lost like 4 more to these towers. Oh, this is really bad. I mean, just look at the map control for PYC Hawk. This match was basically over as soon as Aurelius decided that he was going to wait too long to wall off and just cede so much map control. He walled very, very conservatively, which is definitely not going to work, and all these villagers are just dying. Notice how Hawk, you know, when his towers are being attacked by enemy villagers, he's so good at this particular strategy. He'll ungarrison like 1 or 2, and he'll start repairing the tower. That way, the villagers that are attacking the base of this tower take the maximum amount of damage. What I do like, though, is that Aurelius' tower here, which definitely protects the villagers that are stabbing the base of this tower, so he will finally get it down. But it's too little too late. Aurelius here does not have a backup plan, that is for sure. And that's the biggest problem here, is that when you're getting tower rushed, I mean, you got a couple plans. It's like, wall up and plan some sort of counterattack, basically. Like, you either stop him from initially putting down the towers, or you wall up and you cede whatever land you lost. And then you try and plan some sort of counterattack. Once you get to the castle age, which you really want to get some knights out, to kill all these villagers, and some siege workshop stuff to go just demolish all these towers. I mean, if he managed to get to the castle age, PYC Hawk would have been so screwed. Tower rushing is just super weak to battering rams and mangonels and whatnot. I do like that Aurelius is still holding on here, but he's going to need some sort of counterattack plan. Either that, or he has to somehow push out. I mean, Hawk is super vulnerable right now, so oh, I don't know. This other tower is going to go up. I think Aurelius is pretty much in deep trouble right now. I would be shocked if he managed to make a comeback here. He's got no military units. See, that's the thing, is the player that is forced to play reactively during the entire game is most definitely going to lose. And if you want to win, it's this idea of momentum. You know, you got to be dictating what your opponent is doing, and so many villagers lost. The player that is playing reactively is most definitely going to lose. Because, yeah, it's all about this idea of map control. Hawk can expand anywhere. He can go mine this gold. Because, you know, Hawk, I mean, he's just kept Aurelius bottled in his base the entire game, and it looks like Aurelius has wisely acknowledged that the situation is out of his control. A pretty good attempt from him to defend against this, definitely. I do like his decision to put down the market, as well as invest in some gold. I do like that he was walling off this area. And the counter towers back here, this is good. This is good, because he's definitely limited, he's definitely prevented Hawk from really expanding at all, but the problem is that his slice of the map is just way too small. There's no room for him to really farm here, and that's pretty much all she wrote, honestly. And definitely with the tower rush, you know, if your mobility is restricted by your opponent's walling, you can just harass their farmers and definitely still get some work in. But the important thing is to keep your opponent distracted long enough, try and force them in an awkward situation in which they make some mistakes because they don't expect it, and that way you can protect yourself so that he doesn't get to actually raid your own eco. A really good game here from PYC Hawk. Wow. Always very interesting to see this, and it's really cool to have him back. Tower rushes are definitely less common nowadays than they otherwise might be. So many players like GoH Aurelius definitely did not see this one coming. He was probably very surprised initially. And I think that this entire match was really mostly a result of poor scouting on Aurelius' part. He didn't actually get to see the early stone mine, and you know, if he scouted even early enough, he would have noticed that there was a very late lumber camp from Hawk, which is a very telltale warning sign. And he didn't even catch the villagers as they were migrating over here. If he walled up earlier, perhaps, or if he manages to scout the base and get some damage in with his Drush before too late, then perhaps this game would have gone different, definitely. So, risk versus the reward here, and Hawk gets away with it with a masterfully executed tower rush here. Very, very interesting game. Wow, yeah, so if that doesn't tell you how the game went, then I don't know what does. Only 2 units lost from Hawk here, I believe his scout and just 1 villager, whereas I think that's like, what, 3 militia, 1 scout, and like 19 villagers lost? Oh my goodness. Aurelius took some pretty heavy damage. Wow. Yeah, the Feudal Age timing, also a pretty big player in this. If you're going to Drush, you have to scout your opponent first, otherwise you're putting yourself at a pretty big disadvantage. Because it's really not safe to Drush if you don't know where your opponent is. You know, because you're going to be advancing to the Feudal Age so much slower, and then Hawk can just come in with towers much like he did, and... well, then that's just GG. As we can see here, a pretty significant difference in villagers here, wow. Alright, really great game here from both players, definitely very interesting to watch. I always like to see something a little bit different here. And Hawk bringing it back with some crazy Teutonic tower rush strategy. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Of course, if you did, don't forget to check out the rest of the stuff on my YouTube page, as well as my Twitch TV page, my Twitter page, and my Facebook pages. I do live stream regularly, of course, so I would love to see you there. That is the best way to play with or against me, so if you follow me on Facebook and Twitch, you will know when I'm live streaming, and that way you'll get a chance to play with or against me, or watch some awesome matches. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I appreciate the support as always. Make sure to leave me a like and maybe a comment below, and I will see you all next time.